Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Friday, June 24th, 2022. And just as I promised, today's video is going to be about checking the piston ring gap. And the only tools you're really going to need is a feeler gauge and, of course, those rings. Now, I have a memory cloth. I didn't have to use it. But, and sometimes, depending on the brand that you buy, you might want to make sure that there's no burrs before you stick them in the alu-sil block. Now, in order to put them in the alu-sil block, all I'm going to use is that piston right there. So that's the only other thing that you need. I mean, that's the cheap way to go. That's going to put it in about 1.5 inches into the bore. Otherwise, you can spend the money and buy one of these crazy things. That only goes in about 1 inch, and it costs about $30. It's adjustable for different depths. But all you really want to do is get that flush. So basically, that's all that this video is all about, is how I measured it. I basically just show you one and then sum it all up and then present the final results. So, hey, if you guys have not subscribed yet, subscribe, because I'm going to be trying to start this car. I promise you, I'm going to try to start this car. Whether or not it does start, but we're going to do it live. That's right. Every time I attempt to start the car, it will be live. That's right. I will not do it like behind your back or anything. It will be live. If it fails that day, we'll wait till the next day. We'll just keep doing it until it starts. All right. So I hope you guys subscribe. Click that little button so you get notified every time I do a video, because you never know when I'm going to start it. All right. All right. So I'll catch you guys at the... No. Before I get back, I just want to put out a special thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Gilbert. They're the ones that hooked me up with these rings, right? Because there was an error. You guys know I've got a whole video on that thing, but they hooked me up with all these rings basically. So I want to put a shout out to them. If you guys need to purchase a Mercedes, you want to purchase a Mercedes? Come on to Arizona and purchase a Mercedes from Gilbert, Arizona. That's right. That is the Gilbert Mercedes-Benz right here in Gilbert, Arizona. I'm going to catch you guys at the end of this video, because I want to give another special thanks to someone a little bit later on. All right. Talk to you guys later. All right. So I've de-ringed all the pistons. And I've cleaned them. And I weighed each one, every ring, and they're all within 0.1 grams. I did that just for fun. The old rings I put in their corresponding bag. Thicknesses, they all were identical as far as thicknesses go, so I just stopped writing that down. So the thicknesses of the rings, that's what it is. I'm going to put up the real final numbers right up here. But what I did is, on the number 1 ring here, is I left the oil ring on there. And that's going to allow me to set the piston down into the cylinder with this going down. And then that will level out our ring that we were testing the gap on. Alright, so let's go over to the engine. Alright, this is the number 1 cylinder. I've marked it. I've seen guys, when they flip the engine over, they forget what number and all that kind of stuff. So I'm writing it down on on the tops of everything. This is document 3-317. Renewal of piston rings. So we can see that our piston ring gap for A, B, and C is identical. Okay, so the gap's the same. The only difference is the wear limit. But what I really want you to look at here is this. That's A, B, and C. Do you see what they say is A, B, and C? Well, C is the oil ring. However, C is our top ring here. All right, so be careful of that when you're reading the document. This and the manual is not the same, so be really cautious about that. A is the bottom ring. B, you can't mess that one up. And then C, of course, is the top ring. All right. So all the clearances, though, for what we're doing right now, it's all the same. So I'm going to start with C. There's a little, you know, like a wear ring. You guys have seen it. Right? That little, you can see that little light right there where the light is. We're obviously going to go below that. So I made sure that, you know, the piston, by leaving the oil ring on the bottom, that it brings us past that. So we know we're going to go good. But when I install this, I want to probably do it right here. And you want to install it the exact same way you would install it. As far as the direction, right? Because we have this direction here, so I think you might as well just do that, right? So you can put one side up against it and then roll it in. That's what I'm hoping. And what I found out, what you can't do, don't wear rubber gloves. You know, right now, I guess there's a gap. I put a little bit of oil in here. I wiped it with, I cleaned it all, and then I wiped it with some lubricant. But it looked dry to me, so. Alright. So now that we're in there, I'll take this old piston, number 1, with the ring on it, and I'll put it in from the top. Check this out. You guys can see from the bottom just where I'm going to go. Okay, so that right there is with the piston up against the deck, using the other piston ring. So the manual says that our gap is 0.20 to 0.35. Let's zoom up on this stuff. Alright, I'm going to start with 0.20. I've got a whole rainbow of them. But I'm going to start with 0.20 because I want to know whether or not I have to buy a tool. So let me start with that. Just see how to hold it here. No problem, right? You see that's no problem at all. So we don't have to buy a tool, we know that. Let me see what it looks like from this bottom cam. I'll do it like this here. Okay. Let me see what the other cam looks like. I'm just curious. Alright, so let's go to the highest now. I don't have a 0.35, but I have a 0.33. That goes in it. Here's a 0.356. And that's really tight. So this is probably 0.35. I mean, you want to have more than not enough. It's 0.35. All right, let's pull that one out. Not sure the best way to do it, but because I don't like it. I know that it comes out. That was pretty easy that way. This is the B ring. It's in a little bit different spot this time. Hopefully we can see it. Nope. Well, you'll just have to trust me, because I'm not going to move it. Not for the sake of video, because, you know, I mean, let's just start with the big one to start with, 33. Easy. All right, 0.45. Yep, 0.445. That's what it is. You'd probably take your control oil ring out to do it. But I put the writing towards the top. And it says SL2. 4.0 right off the bat. Too tight. 4.0 don't fit. But what do you know? Let's put in our 3.3. Even 3.3 don't fit. So, what do you know? I'm thinking 3.0 might. Yep. So there you go. The oil is the tightest. At 0.30. Well, let's get that one out. And it was at this point where I thought I was in big trouble. When I first read the tolerances in the manual, you know, I thought I needed to be within that 0.20 to 0.35 range. You know, I really didn't understand that wear limit figure, you know, because it's quite a big number, right? So I thought because I had new rings, I needed to be within that 20 to 35% range. So I stopped the camera and I contacted my good friend Tassos, and he explained how to read the manual. I'm going to put a link right here. I mean, that's his little thing right there, his YouTube. But I also got a link in the description. You know, and because I was confused about that whole wear limit thing and where I needed to be and everything. And so he kind of explained how to read that darn manual. And the wear limit really is the maximum allowed gap, right? That's the maximum allowed. After everything's worn out. That's when everything's worn out. If you're past that, you're too far, right? So, and I'm guessing, you know, that also includes, you know, the wearing of the cylinder walls and everything, which of course explains why I'm a little bit above those tolerances that you saw in that cylinder number 1. And since I had already recorded the measuring of all the rings in cylinder number 1, all I had to do was just measure the other 7 cylinders and their rings to make sure everything was within tolerances, and then those are the results. And as you can see, everything's within tolerance. Now keep in mind that that graphic that I have at the bottom left is showing the box and the A, B, and C as it relates to the part, not as it relates to the manual, right? Because their A, B, C is the complete opposite. So that was a little bit confusing. I mean, not that it was the end of the world or anything, but it didn't feel right to me, that's for sure. But now that I've got it all done, right, everything's been measured, I think, you know, one of the next steps that I'm going to do now that I've got the piston rings and we've measured that part of it, I think one of the things we'll do next is remove that wrist pin. I've never done that before. And I don't know if that's going to be the very next video. I don't think so, actually. I have another video kind of in mind. But that there, I want to remove that and get that all cleaned up so that way there, you know, I can go ahead and just continue to move forward because I've got some other roadblocks that are ahead of me. And that's kind of what the other video might be about, you know. But in the meantime, right now, I don't have any valves, right? I got some bearings. So I had a little problem about that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I might be doing in the next video. But until then, you know, I thank you guys for watching. And, you know, click that subscribe button. You know I'm going to start it. So, or we're going to try. So I'd like you guys to all join me. So take it easy. Until the next one. See you later.